But let's start off with Asante Kotoko. They are hot, they are in form, they look ready to win another Ghana Premier League title. They went to BBNE to take on Gold Stars, and it was a very interesting encounter as the Premier League debutants Gold Stars welcomed Asante Kotoko. We'll also give you the game in Accra between Legon Cities and Accra Great Olympics at the Accra Sports Stadium. Enjoy these two games, Gold Stars and Asante Kotoko, and then Legon Cities versus Great Olympics.
We should just give them a little bit of time. Not too sure whether they've seen through Prof. Judah Champong's crystal eye ball. But here comes Kotoko. Player goes down in the process. But in front of goalkeeper and super finish from Kotoko. And none other than the young chap, Isaac Opong.
Well, against the run of play, yeah, well, look, let's watch him here. Kotoko were probing, and here the ball was not well defended. It fell to him, and look, that one touch, it was a brilliant strike, super strike, for where he was standing and how he got the vision clear and the technique to kill that ball at the edge of the penalty ball straight into the far corner.
Here is Akamenko. Lovely ball to Philip Saki, who goes for the low drive and is the opener. This is well calculated. Brilliant display from Great Olympics to get the first goal. And it's the man on 4 goals in just 2 games. Maxwell Abekwe.
The ball, but look at the amount of space afforded. Olympics here, it's criminal, really is. Natakwa should be coming across early enough to deal with this. We're expecting the goalkeeper to be commanding in that space of his, in that area of his. But he waited, he hesitated, and it was Maxwell Abekwe who wasn't waiting.
Referee whistles. It is not Aqua. This time, he's not lucky. He goes out for a goal.
It's looking at getting it up and over the wall and dipping time. But
all right, so technically the away teams getting points. The Kotoko beating BBNE Gold Stars by a goal to Isaac Opong's Kerala. And there's a litany of Opong Kerlers on social, if you can find that. Left-footed strikes or from the right-hand side, as it turned out. There. And then Legon Cities, they were beaten by a goal to by Accra Great Olympics. Maxwell Abekwe. That's his 4th goal in 2 games. A hat-trick last week and then another goal this week. He's really in the hunt as somebody who wants to win the top scorer award. Let me introduce the guys for this evening. They've been busy. They've had a busy Sunday, but I've dragged them in for another 1.5 hours of sports chatter. Nicholas, how are you doing?
Doing great.
All right. And Daniel Cranting, hello. Feeling patriotic, I see.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
We'll get to that in a bit there, but Daniel, let me start off with you. Kotoko winning on the road. They've won again. Accra Great Olympics starting off in a very good manner. That's another set of points they've picked up there. Your impressions of those 2 games?
Let me start with Olympics. Really impressive. They should also have had 3 wins out of 3 by this point. If you look at that first game they played with RTU, I keep on seeing it. They looked like and they should have got all 3 points. It was a silly decision in the last minute. I've forgotten one of their defenders just throwing his leg at the RTU player. Penalty, and then that game ended 1-1. But last week they were brilliant, and again they were brilliant. And look, Maxwell Abekwe, he's not somebody that has. We saw him last season, of course, break onto the scene, but he wasn't your centre forward type of player. But he seems to have understood this role with just over time, and he's banging in the goals. His understanding, and that's what I want to stress on the word. The understanding of the role is what is key. You've heard Anna Walker talk about him after his hat-trick last week. Spoke about the amount of trust he had in him as a forward player, the fact that he knows he can get more goals, and he's trusting him to do so. And then in the first match after the hat-trick, he comes out and he gets yet another goal, 4 goals in 2 games. And you also have to credit their defense. It was solid on the day, kept a very good and needed clean sheet, because this was a difficult game. We know the Legon Cities team this season is not the same as last season. They are much more competitive. We saw them give Hearts of Oak a very tough time the other day. So it's a positive and a very good 3 points for Legon Cities. For Kotoko, you don't even
Olympics,
know.
Olympics.
For Olympics, but look, for Kotoko, you don't even know what to say at this point in time. First 2 games were victories where they grinded out the 3 points. Yeah. Yesterday's game, they looked much composed, Of course, BBNE gave it their goal, but Kotoko looked like the big team on the game. And Isaac Opong he's such a talent. It's hardly do you see such a youngster walk into a big team like Kotoko, be given an opportunity, and he's done it. First game, he gave a couple of assists and a goal. Last week, he was at hand again, and today or yesterday, he scored that fantastic curler. And you see, it's the decision making and the timing of it. As soon as the loose ball broke onto him, you could tell he had already thought about what he was going to do, and the technique executed perfectly. It was a brilliant display from him and Kotoko.
Nicholas, for Asante Kotoko, they are perfect in the league. They are yet to draw, I think. They've won
3 wins out of 3.
3 wins out of 3. What is it? Is it new coaching? Is it new talent? Or is it this determination to win back a league title they felt they easily handed over to Hearts of Oak last season?
I think it's a bit of everything. Last season was so frustrating for them, looking at their rival club coming up trumps in almost every competition. In fact, all the competitions in Ghana, actually. It's Kotoko's always been a force in Ghanaian football. I don't want to say that, but yeah, being a Hearts fan. But I mean, you can see that the pain from losing last season is affecting them, and it's influencing their play. They're trying to affect their own style of play whenever they even go away from home, and it's refreshing actually to see the two Kumasi teams on top with 9 points each. Credit to Kotoko, they've started well, but it's about consistency if they can maintain this.
Okay, all right, Daniel, just a thought on Accra Hearts of Oak. We couldn't get their videos there, but Hearts drew again. This time against Adriana Stars. I think they were 1 man down. They conceded a late equalizer.
It's disappointing. The first week, you cut them some slack. But look, they are the only team in the Ghana Premier League that had a competitive preseason. And I say competitive because they had 3 games in the CAF Champions League. 1 against Kamsa, 2 against Wydad Club. So they entered this season fitter than everybody else. But the sort of displays they are putting on the pitches, look, it's just not Hearts of Oak. And this is a team that is attacking.
What could be the problem?
And that's the thing. You watch them and you can't really tell, because what you can see is a group of players who don't seem to understand themselves. But it doesn't make sense, because they should know themselves by now. Not too much has changed. The only change in this team is Futu, who's left the club. Salim has come in, who is a fantastic player, and looked to have gelled in the first game we saw him against Kamsa. But since then, the mix, they are just not getting the mix right. Of course, Kofi Koji wasn't at the club last season, but he's been at Hearts before 2 seasons ago. He's not played under Samuel Buedu, but he's succeeding as a player. So you don't quite understand why the rest of the guys around him are not getting things together. And what is worrying me is the fact that on the surface of things, yes, you can say Hearts are unbeaten, but it's 3 games into the season, they're already 6 points behind Kotoko. That is like losing twice already. And that is huge, because we saw how last season went, and we saw that when the 2 teams got their mojo back, nobody was dropping points. And if Kotoko is on form like this, you don't see when they are going to be dropping points. If they are going to be dropping points, it's going to be very scarce. So Hearts of Oak to play 3 games, not to win 1, 3 points out of 3 games, 6 points dropped already, and already 6 points behind their rivals. You're already handing the trophy, and it might be a bit too early to say, but that's what it is.
All right, Nicholas, just final words.
Yeah.
Coach Buedu has said that from week 4, Hearts will start to pick up. It could probably be a wider gap by then. But at which point should Hearts start to get concerned?
I mean, ideally, it should have been from the start. I like Samuel Buedu a lot, but those are some really interesting comments. I don't know any coach, probably because he won so much, he's been given some slack. It's interesting. When you win, when you get success, you put a target at your back. And I think that's what's affecting Hearts of Oak now. It's like they're trying
Everybody's
to reach,
after them.
Exactly. Everyone is after them. When anyone is playing against Hearts at their home, they have to make sure they don't lose, that kind of thing. It's still early days. You can look at it from the Cup 4 perspective, half full perspective, because they've drawn 3 games. One more goal could have won it for them. If they didn't score 2, they would have lost. So, I mean, it's interesting. The good thing is it's early days. As you said rightly, he spoke of game week 4 being there. The moment has to come to the fore. So let's see. At least they haven't lost to bring. It's more to do with the momentum and the manner in which they lost in Morocco. I think psychologically really dented their confidence.
It's weighing on them now.
Probably that's why he said we should wait till game week 4. And I think they haven't lost at least yet. So let's see what they can do from game week 4.
All right, Hearts of Oak not doing well. Asante Kotoko are perfect. They are brilliant in the Ghana Premier League.